Hello. Welcome to, I believe this is episode 4 of T4Chats. This week I am at Gulf Coast Bible Camp. It is currently like midnight going into Friday of this week. And I am here with Lee Jameson Jr. Lee Jameson has a few ties with Tide for Christ, and we'll get into that here in a second in our interview. So we'll jump right into it. Lee, where are you from?
I was born in North Carolina, but I say I'm from Tuscaloosa. I spent most of my life there, most of my formative years. Grew up at Central, very familiar with Tide for Christ. So I'm from Tuscaloosa.
Okay, yeah, and that's great to hear. You know, we love to see some Tide for Christ represented in
Mm-hmm.
other parts of the world, whether it be in state or out of state. You know, we love to see that. What is your profession?
I'm actually a full-time youth minister now. So this November is going to be my third full year at the Timberlane congregation in Tallahassee. It's been a huge blessing for me and my family over the last few years.
Yeah, that's awesome. For those of you that might remember, last year we did a mission trip to the Timberlane Church of Christ in the Tallahassee area,
Mm-hmm.
and we did basically some door to door knocking on campus. It
Yeah,
seems like,
yeah.
but that's the same church that Lee Jameson Jr. is from. You might remember seeing him or his dad, Lee Jameson Sr. He's also here this week. He's actually one of our directors for this week of camp. So shout out to Lee Jameson Sr. And the last question is, what is your favorite part of camp?
My favorite part of camp is the seclusion. And what I mean by that is our ability to escape from absolutely everything else that's going on in the world. We get a week to gather together, to be with like minded Christians, and to shut everything off. If you do it right, you will go that whole week not knowing any other thing that happens around the world. All you know is what you're focusing on, what you're learning about, and what you're doing with your fellow brothers and sisters that week. That's always been my favorite part. And I've hated having to leave that every time camp is over and having to go back to all the garbage that's out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably kind of an odd answer, but that seclusion is what I enjoy. Probably my favorite part.
Yeah. That's a very interesting answer. That's definitely not the word I was expecting for your answer. But I absolutely agree. I mean, like last week I was at Maywood and there was zero cell service. If you've
Mm-hmm.
ever been to Maywood, like you get cell service in like one part of the camp, and that's it. But it really is nice to kind of
Yeah.
separate. And I think it's really good about like, you know, we try and tell the campers like, hey, leave your phones in the
Yeah.
cabin, like leave your phones in the cabin, but like if they can't really use their phones, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
it's going to
Yeah.
be hard for them to be on their phones anyways. So you still get that seclusion regardless,
Mm-hmm.
and that really is a very important part of
Yeah.
camp. So you can get away from what you normally are accustomed to, whether it be your own room, your own bed, your family, whatever. You get to leave all of that behind for just a week and come
Yeah.
here and focus on you and your relationship with God. And
Yeah.
obviously you'll have fun along the way.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
ultimately the main goal is to, reunite with God. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a very good
Yeah.
answer.
It's getting harder and harder to do that as the years go on. And so just to me, that makes camp more and more special as that happens. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think I'll put probably a couple pictures from camp. I didn't take a whole lot of pictures this camp.
mm-hmm.
I was pretty focused on trying to be a counselor and
Yeah.
wrangle all the
Well, that's
kids
good.
together.
That's good.
But I think that will conclude this episode of T for Chats.
All right.
Sometime I know I said something different in the last episode, but towards the end of the summer, I'll post a recap of where all of our T4C interns went this summer, and it'll be this massive video of all the different pictures and videos from the different camps, whether it be from me or from Brady or from whoever else. And so I'll be posting that towards the end of the summer, and look forward to next week's episode 5, and we'll see who will be interviewed for that. So thank you and goodbye.